All right. For those that were not on our call for the town hall, one of the things that we did was we committed to updating and upgrading the LMS platform. We have done that. We did a soft unveil on June 30th, but what we wanted to do was take some time and walk you through the LMS on a much deeper level. So if you recall, the new LMS has two different sides to it. It has the client side and it has the admin side. I'm going to start by showing you the client side. Can everybody see my screen just to make sure?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to share with you. As I'm walking through this, it gets hard for me to see if people are asking questions. So, Linda, can I ask you to help me out? Because I know you're really good at this. Will you help me monitor any questions that you see coming up?
Sure. If folks will just put it in the chat section, I'll try and keep track of that for you.
So as you log into the client side, so this would be what your clients see. So what I've done is I've set up a sample client company. The client company is Trusted Change Agents. So that would be you, the affiliate. So as you can see, your client will see your logo here. Okay. You will also notice that I can use the standard icon, which is just a generic icon, or what I did for mine is I actually clicked that little button there. Oops. There we go. And I actually added my own picture to it. Now, I think when I do that, I'm able to update it. So when I go on, this is the main page that I see. Over here will be a list of all my active processes. So as an example, if I've completed team leadership, let's say I completed team leadership and now all of a sudden I'm doing the executive leadership process. I would then have two processes showing here. So if a client has more than one process, all of their processes would be listed right here. Okay. I can see all of my assignments. So anytime I log on here, I will be able to see assignments. When I click on the view assignments, I gotta move here a little bit. I can look up what's my prep for session 3. I can open up, oops, I gotta allow to download files. I can download files so that I can see them. Sorry. I gotta click back here. I can then click back to my dashboard and you can see where I've downloaded those files. I can access my leadership process right through here. So this is what your clients see. What's really nice about this?
Wendy?
Yes?
Mr. Kovitz has a question.
Yes.
He wants to know, and Charles Riddy said, will we be able to modify assignments from the admin side? And Alan says, can I amend the prep files?
Yes, you can. You'll do that from the admin side. You'll take any of your assignments, and I'll walk through that in more detail. You'll walk through, upload anything. You can make any changes you want to it. It's because it's going to be, you know, your Word documents. You can upload PDFs, files that are not trusted advisors, but are things that you've created for yourself. So you can also add supplemental information to this as well. It's not just trusted advisor, you know, information that can be uploaded. It can be your personal handouts, exercises that you've used, you know, things that you've accumulated over the years. You can listen to the audio. You can
also, just, I think you answered this, but sorry, Wendy. Kathy Huska, I think you answered it, and Kathy Huska wants to know, is there a limit to the file type for attachments such as PDF, doc, PPT, PowerPoint, Excel, etc.?
You can use all those major ones.
Okay.
So you can download, and what this system does is it really walks you through how to use it. So they're going to have their prep that says listen to chapters 1 and chapter 2. So it's set up in such a way that they will click continue if they've already read it. So this one you can see I've already completed this prior, but let me show you what it looks like when I haven't completed one. You'll see up here my in progress has a 0% because I haven't touched this chapter yet. So I would read this section and I mark it as complete. When I read this section, I mark it as complete. So you can see how the system really does walk you through exactly what you need to do. It's set up in short little bursts of information, all of your, in essence, all of your subheadings. And as you can see, as I click through, you see my percentage bar is going up. I can print any page. Just gonna quick complete this, not even reading the questions. So we'll see how bad I do. So when I finish the questionnaire, I can view my answers. If it's highlighted in green, I got it correct. If it's in red, I got it incorrect. Remember any false answers in the book? You had the false answer and you had the reason why it was false. You still have that access here. What's nice about this system as compared to the other system is the answers are right in the back of the book. So in the hard copy and the old LMS, you could technically cheat the system, whereas now those answers aren't there till you complete the questionnaire. So it's a little truer test as to, you know, did I understand the concepts or did I miss something? You can then go to the next questionnaire. And what's really nice about this is I can type as much as I want. And it will allow me to continue. I'm just trying to show you that. See how it will continue building your box. So you can be as short as you want, or you can continue to answer information. I can view my answers as well. that's how your text chapters work. Any questions on the text chapters? Okay.
You can customize those for how I customize my processes. I can tell you which chapters I want in what order.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The customization, still you can customize just like we did in the other process. It'll just look like in the new format. But yep, you can mix and match chapters. You can only do just chapters. You can do chapters with audio. You can do chapters without audio. You can do action plan pieces as well. So the action plan, as you see, is set up very similar to what it used to be.
You still use Flash for the audio?
I don't know what it is.
Because for Chrome, you had to set a flag to use the audio because of the Flash.
You know, I don't think so, because I'm actually doing this on Chrome. And I'm sorry that I can't answer exactly what it was used, because our computer programmer took care of making sure it worked in all different types of things.
Probably HTML5.
So I can find out exactly what it is for you.
Yeah, Flash goes away in December, so.
Yeah. But we actually worked with an outside computer programmer to help us develop it. So it's not like it was in-house staff, you know, doing all of the work ourselves. With the questionnaires, they function in the same way. When you hit the save button, you'll see they appear down below automatically. I can go into the one that I just started and I can edit it. And let's say I was working on this questionnaire and I got pulled away for some reason. You know, the telephone rang, somebody walked into my office and needed something. I had to step away and I forgot to log out. What's really nice about this system is it will auto save. So if I click away and I click back, oops, am I in the mental? Oops, sorry. Sorry, I'm sticking. I apologize.
Scroll down, I believe.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm getting stuck here. It's my computer. I've been having some issues with it. But it does have an auto save on it, so you can auto save, so it will not lose any information. If you start working in a form and then you accidentally, like I said, get called away, it will save that information. It also,
Even if you have not finished that particular section?
correct, that was one of the,
questionnaire?
that was one of the feedbacks that we got on the old system, is people would say they lost information. They're working in something, the system timed out on them. They weren't aware of it. And what happened is they couldn't find it because they didn't hit the save button. It was gone. They'd have to redo it. Now what'll happen is when you bring up the form again, it will have highlights of how far you completed, which I was trying to get there. But like I said, it's my computer causing, I've been having some issues with my computer. It actually goes to the place tomorrow to get checked out.
Wendy,
So-
we've got a couple of questions. Charles Reese said this is a huge improvement. Arnie wants to know, what does the facilitator see with a group? And then Laura Dillingham has a question, says, will the system log you out after a certain amount of non-use time?
After a certain amount of non-use time, you will get logged out. Before you get logged out, the system will say the system is going to log out. That's great if you're sitting at your computer. However, if it is, I got called out of my office, and, because I got called out of my office, I forgot I had it up and running, it will still do that autosave before it logs you out.
To Arnie's question, what does the facilitator see with a group?
You can look at your admin side. It depends on how you're going to facilitate it. Because it's still a single user person, each person is going to have their own information. So you're not going to be sharing the screen in a client's information. You could share your information if you wanted to show, as an example in this, you could show your admin side of things, but you wouldn't want to actually show a client's completed information. Does that make sense, Arnie?
I'll write up. My question is there a way to see if the assignments were done?
Yes,
I don't care
I will
what
show
was
you that.
done.
Yes, that's
Okay.
on the admin side.
Okay.
So it's also set up to make sure that your clients are going through the process. So they'll create goal categories, then they're going to set and establish their goals. Once they do that at the goal planning sheet, and this was another thing that people had requested, was the fact that you would then be able to choose a drop-down box for your goal categories, or create an entirely new goal. You now have that ability to do that. I think people are working in here because this is changing. So that's in essence how the client side works.
I have a quick question, Wendy.
Yes.
I saw the little note part down there at the
Mhm.
bottom. So they could either print out anything that they wanted to, if they were a person who likes to highlight and all of that. And then in that note section, if they wanted to keep their notes electronically, they could put that down there for themselves.
Yes, thank you.
Or keep them in another way.
Thank you. Yes, when you are in your system, sorry, that's where people are. You guys were covering. You can type notes in here. You can save it. You can print it. Okay. Also over here, there's a notes area that you can actually look at all the notes that you've done. You can download all your notes. You can choose, am I doing just one? Am I doing all of them? It gives you options there.
I don't want to jump this if this goes into the facilitation part. So stop me if you're going to tell us this. So that would mean that as I'm doing my facilitation and I say, okay, you read this chapter, and then when I come back and I say, what did you think about this? They would have their chapter notes, anything that they highlighted, made notes of, any of those notes that are their notes themselves to be able to use and say, here's what I want to talk about.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's for them. Let me show you. So let me just go over this. So it auto saves, you get the message warning when it's going to time out. You can message others in the group. You can print any page. We walk through how you can see the assignments online. The time matrix, it's really nice for a participant to complete. They can do it daily, because we also realize that a lot of people's schedules may change from day to day. And before in the other system, you were kind of stuck by what you originally put in. With the new system, you can enter whatever your tasks are for any given day. And it will automatically summarize when you say what you want it to summarize. So there's no having to go in there and figure out the calculations anymore. With the goal planning.
Wendy, Jerry Houston wants to know if you can pull up your notes while you are in the chapter as a window.
Yes, where you saw my little window over there, you can do that.
Thank you.
And excuse me, and those notes would only be seen by the participant, or
Correct.
we would see their notes as well?
No, you will not see their notes. Only the participant will see their notes.
Okay.
So in the affiliate view, oh, and the one thing I forgot to say is in your goal planning sheets, each action step will now also go to Google Calendar or iCal. Before, that was not an option in the old system. You had to physically go into your planning system and enter that information. Now it will go to your iCal or your Google Calendar, depending upon which you use. So this is now the affiliates view. So for the sake of this conversation, Trusted Change Agents is the affiliate. So this is what the dashboard looks like. I can see all available processes. So as an affiliate, if I have multiple processes in here, I've purchased multiple processes over the years, you're going to see all of your available processes. So any processes that you have would be listed here. You can see all of your work groups. So I've created 2 different work groups. You can see all of your clients. And you can see your messages.
Wendy,
Yes.
Mike Myers wants to know if you can highlight and mark up the text.
No, you would still use the note function. So how this is going to work is you will have multiple work groups. You will have multiple clients listed. If you want to add assignments, you go to the assignment area and you add a new assignment. So you can do something specific, and I can type in here, please read the article and be prepared to share your thoughts. You can type whatever notes you want in here. You can also assign a date to it by when you want it to be completed. You can assign it to a specific work group, or let's say as you're working with your group and you're working with me as your client. Pretend Wendy is the client, and Wendy is having some difficulty. So you want to give Wendy a little bit of extra reading that she could do. You know, the rest of the folks in the group are doing okay, so they don't need it, but Wendy needs a little extra. You can choose to assign something to just a client. So you can assign to an entire group, or you can assign to an individual client. You select the file. And you save it.
Wendy, Kathy Huska says, after an assignment is given to one work group or client, will it be saved so that it can be sent to another group or client later?
Yes, you can set it up two different ways. You can do just, as you've seen up here, I've done team leadership handouts for session 2, where I can then go in and edit it. And I can reassign it to a different work group and change the date. Or I can do it very specifically for one specific group. You can also add just an assignment. It's a note. You know, don't forget to complete your pre and post exam. Without adding any handouts to it. You don't need to have attachments. And it will show in the client's viewing. So to answer Alan's question, Alan, you go in there, you modify your prep for session, or you modify exercises. When you go to select it, you would just choose the file that you wanted and attach it, and then that is what they will see. If I am in my dashboard, and I want to see, is a client doing their work? I'm clicking on Gerard, the client. Gerard has completed 7% of his information. I can go further if I wanted to say, well, let's see exactly what he's done. So we can look in here and see what's been completed. So I can see the different things that he's done versus things that he hasn't done. See how these are, see how you have the circle, sorry. See how you have the circles there and nothing is in them? Versus up here, where you have check marks showing you that it was done. So let's go. Now you can also see, as you're looking at this, you see over here it says Gerard Mott. So I know I'm in my client's view, and I can go back to the Trusted Changes dashboard. So it very clearly shows you what dashboard you're in, so you can tell, okay, what system am I in, and is it the correct one? Apologize for my phone ringing, of course.
Wendy, Mike Myers says, for groups, a dashboard would be really nice. Any thoughts on this in the future?
I don't understand what that means.
Mike, you want to clarify, please?
Yeah, you just showed how Gerard was 7%.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice if you could see in a group of 4 or 5 or 10 people what percent everybody was on one screen.
Oh, okay.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, we can
For me.
look into that for future updates.
Yeah.
If you want to see Tammy, she hasn't done anything. And again, we just set these up as examples, so I knew Tammy wouldn't have completed anything, whereas, oops, sorry, I was doing messaging. If I looked at Wendy, I've got to 12%. Now, I was on a call earlier with an affiliate, and it was how much do we want to go in and check on our clients? That's totally up to you. You know, I know some affiliates will probably never go in and check out what their clients are doing. And I know other affiliates have clients that their clients want to know, you know, we're paying for these folks to go through this process. I want to make sure they're, you know, putting the work in. So we do want you to be able to see what they're doing. So again, you don't have to take the time to log in and check what clients are doing. It is an option. You can also choose to message folks. So I can, you know, welcome to your process. And again, you won't see it on here, but if I was logged in under the client demo, if I was typing a note to Gerard, Gerard would see that. And only Gerard would see that. So I can use the messaging to give a very specific message to an individual, or I can use the assignments to do an overall reminder to everyone.
Wendy, Arnie wants to know the percentage is of the total, so it grows week by week as
Correct.
they complete each assignment.
Well, it'll do it per chapter.
It will do it either by the total or per chapter?
No, it does it per chapter. So this week I was supposed to read chapters 3 and chapter 4. It's going to show you the percentage that it's been completed.
Okay, so each week it starts again at 0.
Yes,
Or each chapter?
each
Starts
chapter.
at 0. Okay.
So on the affiliate side, as I said, you can see all of the chapters that you've had. You can view whatever work groups you have. You can also view your clients, which are your participants. You can message participants individually. You can do assignments for an entire group. You can do an assignment for just a client. You can add any type of attachment that you want to the system. Currently, what's ready now in the new system is coaching, leadership, management, and team leadership. Customer loyalty and time strategies will be ready by July 15th. Executive leadership, sales, and annual goals review will be ready by August 15th. So I'm going to stop the share here. Now,
Wendy,
yes.
Charles wants to know, what do message notifications look or sound like? And then we've got a question from Arnie. It says, do we see the same thing for the action plan? I guess Arnie, do you mean
If it's finished.
completed the chapter?
Well, did they complete the action plan mental for this
see
week? Did they do the whole thing, 100%, 20%, 40%? Now, I don't want to see their answers, obviously, but I want to know that's what I would always do, is look over somebody's shoulder to see if there was writing in the book.
Yeah, yes, you will see that. Let me.
Sandy wants to know, it says, from affiliate view, when pulling up what a client has done, where does it show you which client you're looking at?
You click on their name.
Yeah, well, you click on their name, but it's when you've actually then, after you've done that. After you've done that and the information comes up, where does it show you, if you walk away, which client you had pulled up?
It doesn't, because you've clicked on the client to access it. You'll have to click back to your return to the affiliate dashboard.
So you just have to sort of know who you clicked on.
Well,
Sounds like it.
yeah,
And Bertha wants to know, it says for uploaded attachments, are videos permitted and are links permitted?
yes. You would put the link, if you were doing a link, the way you would do it is in that, let me show you. Right there's where I put the link to the exam. I gave them their username and their password.
Elliot wants to know, is it an active link or will they have to copy and paste it into their browser?
They'll need to copy and paste it into their browser.
Okay.
What other questions do you have? I see there's a bunch of chats. Are there more chats in there? Okay.
I've been keeping track. We're up to
Okay.
date. I wouldn't leave you hanging, Wendy.
So,
Hey, Wendy, can you go over the availability again of what's
mhm,
needed pretty quickly?
yes, coaching, leadership, management, team leadership, all are ready now.
Okay, cool.
Customer loyalty, time strategies by July 15th. Executive leadership, sales, annual goals review by August 15th. Now, this is just for the development programs. Strategic planning is going to stay where strategic planning is. They're two different beasts. One of the other things that is important to know, any client that you have on LMS2, the previous, they will stay on LMS2. We're going to keep that site live, so nobody's going to lose their information. We cannot move somebody from LMS2 into LMS3. The system is set up so differently that there's no way you're going to be able to morph the data effectively.
Right.
I didn't hear ELST.
Because the ELST workbook will stay on the old system. I know, Lisa, you are kind of unique. The chapters can be added to the 3.0, but
Nice.
the workbook sections, that has to stay on too.
Okay.
But I know you kind of usually don't use the workbook, you use more of the chapters.
Right.
So you shouldn't have a problem.
Okay.
So what other questions do you have? Because now I kind of want to open it up to, I've walked you through the system. What thoughts, questions do you have?
Stop me if you want to have a one-on-one, but I want to, I'll ask this question and maybe it's helpful to other people. So currently, for my long distance clients, the virtual clients, I'm sending them an email with a Word document that is preparation for session 2. And then the attachments that I'm giving to them has handouts. What it looked like to me is that I can do it within that system, send those attachments just like I did in an email, which actually would make those attachments be available to them, that they can go back to session 1, prep for 2 or 3, if we're going back to find something anyway, and they can save them there unless they choose to save them on their computer.
Correct. When they log into the system, when you saw all of those assignments, it holds all of the assignments. So when I log in as the client, I will see any assignment that you as my affiliate have sent to me.
Okay,
All of the handouts will be there. If I want to, I can download them to my computer if I prefer to do that, but I
right,
don't have to. And you don't have to take the extra step of, let me write an email, let me attach it, and then let me send it to them, and then it's in the system, it's done for you.
okay. And so the platform can be that the information they have, you can make those tabs across down for me, that it's the tabs that I request from that customized standpoint. So when I say preparation for session 1 goes then with this tab and these handouts, it'll all be there. And I know you've been trying to talk me into this for a while. And of course it makes a lot of sense, especially working virtually and now globally with some clients, because of not having to mail them.
Right.
Okay, so I can have a little bit more of a conversation with you if that makes sense offline, but I thought some of that might be helpful to others.
And especially if you are doing internationally, I mean, I hope you don't mind me sharing. Are you okay if I share pricing of the shipping?
Yes.
Lisa had 2 potential clients that are international, and to ship ground, or what we would consider the cheapest, it was over $100. I mean, shipping international is crazy expensive. So that's why I had mentioned to Lisa, you might want to consider the learning management system for this, you know, in this case, because I know she likes the hard copy. Shipping across, you know, the United States, no problem. But when you start thinking about international, the shipping charges really, they're outrageous.
And so obviously they have the opportunity to print it out if they are a hands-on person. So I would think that I wouldn't even necessarily give the choice. And that'd be the future thing to ask about, what the costs are on any of that to make some of those decisions. Then, because based on my discovering wants and needs, even for my local or my US clients, I can make that decision about whether to recommend the LMS or the hard copy.
Yep.
Well, do you have time to share the pricing, or does somebody else have another question?
Pricing is, I'm sorry, pricing is for
them to use the LMS.
Oh, it's the same pricing. It's 10% less the hard copy. Whatever your hard copy price would be, it's 10% less. We haven't changed the price. I'm sorry, maybe it's better to say this. We have not increased the pricing of the LMS materials. So the LMS price stays the same. So if you were ordering a leadership process, you order hard copy, it's $385. You order it in the LMS format, it's $346.50. So that you just get it's 10% less if you're using LMS versus hard copy materials. Whatever the hard copy price would be, consider 10% less.
So then with the way that I customize mine, I saw that you had the same tradition of the white tabs, then the blue and the green. Would you be able to do them in the order that I usually put them in anyway, line them all up so it's organized for them and be good to go?
Yes, and it will look a lot nicer than, you know, tab 3 here, tab 1 here, tab 2.
Right.
It'll flow like it was meant to be that way.
Yep. Okay.
So it does take away the whole tabbing convention where some of your tabs may not, you know, line up.
Right.
Wendy?
Yes.
Affiliate. Could you repeat the ones you said that are ready now?
Yes. Coaching, leadership, management, team leadership.
Thank you.
They are ready now. Customer loyalty, time strategies by July 15th. EL, sales, annual goals by August 15th.
Thank you.
when you said about that content is available, so does that mean that if you were going to customize one for me and I wanted chapters out of sales or executive leadership, those chapters exist as a narrative and could be used now or not yet?
We could get them, yes, we could get them in. The one thing that I ask is, give us a couple days.
Of course.
If it's one that isn't in now, give us a couple days so that we're not, rushing. But yeah, we can get the text chapters in pretty easily. What requires some of the time frame on the July 15th and August 15th is really in the action plan portions, because one of the things that we were very conscious of doing is making sure things flow.
Right.
In the previous system, we got a lot of, hits on, well, I entered my goal categories for my mental development. And now when I go to setting goals and establishing priorities, I have to re-enter them again. Why won't it pull through? So now the pull throughs do occur. Because of that, it takes us a little bit longer to get those action plan pieces together.
Wendy, Randy Lohman, a quick question on the participant view
Yes.
and add on to the tabs mentioned earlier. Is there a way to hide those when you're using the tool? I've leveraged it on an iPad, and that consumes a lot of real estate. If you could possibly hide those tabs, it would really help from a reading view on a tablet as a suggestion.
I would have to ask that question. It is something that is set up to be mobilely responsive. The one thing that I will just point out, they're completing some pretty significant, action plan forms. Again, the smaller you get, the harder they get to read just because of the content. So I would say I wouldn't go smaller than a tablet for completing the action plan forms. I mean, you certainly could if you wanted to, but it tends to get a little bit more difficult to do that on a phone. What other questions? All right. Well, if there are no other questions, when you have your client, if you want us to set you up with an admin side, just let us know and we can certainly do that. We do have some affiliates that, they're not going to use it, so they're not going to want to be set up with that admin side, but we can certainly do that. The thing that makes sense is it doesn't make sense to give you an admin side so you have work groups in there. So when you get it, if you would like to have that admin side, just tell us and we can get that set up for you pretty quickly.
Wendy, one last question, strategy question. Do you have a vision for someday when the books are no more and everything's electronic? Obviously, there's additional costs for you guys to have to maintain both of those platforms. Any thoughts there?
Currently, the way we're doing it, we never see the hard copy going away totally. Based upon some of the folks that our clients work with, in the manufacturing world, they're not at their computers, so we never see it totally going away. One of the things that we truly believe in is supporting our affiliates in their efforts and providing top quality materials for them to use, because the way we make money is by affiliates selling the tools. So hopefully, that's going to continue to work the way it does, and there's not going to be a need to go crazy with, we're going to have to start charging for, use of the system and things like that. So as long as you guys continue using the tools with your clients, we'll be good.
Is there a charge for the admin tool?
No.
Okay.
Nope. All right. We do have the demo client set up, and what I'll make sure that we do is we include that demo information when I do the Learning Lab, when we upload the Learning Lab information to the affiliate website. It's going to be the trusted change agent, so you're going to see what I just showed you today, but it'll allow you to play in the system. And if you have any questions, you know, Jenna and myself have worked really closely with our programmer in this. Probably if you have content questions, you know, see me. Functionality questions, Jenna could help, but you know, you guys all have my email, my phone, call me anytime and we can walk through it. All right. Hope you like what you saw.
Wendy, I have one question.
Yes.
When we roll this out with a client, will we need to get them online with us and walk them through some of this, come up with some kind of instructions for them, or just send them username and password and say, get in there and start playing?
I'm going to say that's going to be up to you.
Okay.
When we sent it to you folks, those of you that demoed, I didn't send any instructions, and I purposely didn't send any instructions because I figured what a great way to test the system, because if you guys came back and said, I didn't know where I was going, I didn't know what to do, that would let us know. And nobody came back and said, I need specific instructions. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. So I would say it's pretty much takes you through what you need to do. But I also know how you guys like to function. So if you feel that, certainly you may do that.
Well, I think if we give them minimal and some screenshots to get them started, they'll be fine. As Kathy pointed out, most of the folks we're dealing with are pretty tech savvy. So we'll be able to, I think, give them some minimum things to start, and then we'll know once they get in there what kind of feedback we get.
And I was going to say, I think this system is much more
user-friendly. Yeah.
This version.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you.
Yes, Lisa?
I have a quick question. Is it set up that you can make a prep for session 5 if session 5 doesn't go with one of the chapters, that I can do it as an open prep, or does it always have to be connected to a chapter? I'm trying to remember back from where I saw down the side.
No, you can give any assignment you want to. It could be this week, I want you to read this blog article.
Right.
You know, it can be something totally different, because you're going to type in what you want and you're going to attach what document you want to that. So it allows you to really bring in stuff that you use personally.
Right, because then I was thinking about that when I'm continuing with them after we're done with the chapters, as we're continuing on our monthly kinds of things. I'm always doing them prep for session 23, and then that's a document in itself. So it doesn't have to be connected to a chapter.
And that's part of the reason, because one of the things we want to do is we want to keep them using the process. But before, you know, with the hard copy, we use it for so long, and then it does eventually get put on the shelf.
Right.
Whereas now that you have the ability to add your assignments right there, you can certainly continue to add to the process. And what's really nice is down the line, you say, I want to add some additional chapters. I want to add a new program. You can certainly do that, and they can see that on their dashboard. Yeah, it makes it really cool for them to continually use the process and for you to get that continual repeat business as well.
Right. Thank you.
So Wendy, just to clarify, so there is no end to a process.
I mean,
it doesn't shut you down once you've completed everything.
No.
Okay.
No, as long as your clients are using it, it's going to stay live, just like the other session.
Yep.
Or the other process, the other system. Okay. Any other last questions?
Yes, this is maybe specific to me, but might help others. So I have a coaching client who started in the old system, and he never did his homework. That said, he is the CEO of a company whose major product is a phone app. And it's possible that he just looked at it and went, ah. So since there's nothing on the old system, and I will say he never complained, he just didn't do anything, which is consistent with him. But might I try to just move everything to the new system and reboot with him?
I mean, we do that on a case-by-case basis, but if it's, you know, for one or two, we can certainly do that. We can't move
Just move this
everybody
one.
over for, you know, nothing, but yeah.
And he still may do nothing. I don't know, but I just thought, you know, he just
Yeah, we'll
doesn't
certainly
do his
look at that
homework.
on a case-by-case basis for sure.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, Charles? Oh, okay. All right. Then I appreciate you taking the time for us today. And if, like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks,
Wendy.
Wendy.
Welcome.
Thank you, Wendy.
Have a
Harry
great rest
Houston,
of the
don't
day.
go outside.
Thank you.
Thank you.